Insta360 seem to have the 360 camera market nailed with various solutions, and the most popular being the fantastic X3, which ticked all the right boxes when it came to that blend of both hardware as well as the software that makes the magic happen. Yet Insta360 decided to keep that innovation ball rolling and surprise us with a new, more refined and more powerful version, conveniently named the X4. Available in various configurations depending upon your chosen activity, with different kits bundling in different accessories, the core camera itself is the same. In fact, at a glance it's hard to distinguish the Insta360 X4 from the X3. The basic design is the same, with just a few nips and tucks here and there to accommodate the latest features. It's about the same size and shape as a candy bar, features semi-rugged materials, and has opposing lenses, one on each side, to record everything in sight, although this time round it is slightly larger and slightly heavier to accompany all the extra goodness inside. Its grippy exterior is easy to hold, especially with the new ribbed design on one side, or you can attach one of Insta360's invisible selfie sticks using the threaded mount point on the bottom, again a system that worked well before and equally as well here. We still have a nice large screen on the rear side. In fact, it's increased in size from 2.29 inches on the X3 to 2.5 inches on the X4, and it's better protected too thanks to the Corning Gorilla Glass, providing much better durability all round. Talking of protection, just like before, twin ultra-wide lenses cover the entire 360-degree field of view, and these are the part of the X4 that really needs protecting, although this time round the camera comes with ultra-light, clear lens protectors that can be screwed on and off, whereas the 360 used non-reusable sticky lens guards. These lens guards are simple pieces of plastic that prevent anything from scratching the camera's own domed lenses, but even so it's still an additional layer over the main lens, which means they can be detrimental to overall quality, so you'll still achieve the very best quality from the naked lenses themselves, albeit used with care. Otherwise, when it comes to general storage and transportation, a convenient carry pouch is included in the package, complete with internal accessory pockets, and I'd highly recommend its use in order to protect the lenses at all times. That aside, the X4 feels right at home in your hand. Just below the screen, along with a status LED, are buttons that start capturing video and flip between front and rear lens views. Very handy. Alongside these we have another two physical buttons on the side, but it's otherwise largely a touch-led interface, which we'll come back to shortly. Otherwise, the X4 maintains its IPX8 water resistance, so that's 33 feet for 30 minutes. Insta360 achieves the X4's water resistance using single-layer rubber seals around the data transfer and charging USB-C port located beneath a panel on the left, as well as the battery, which pops out when you release its two fastening sliders on either side. Talking of the battery, better battery life is one of the most significant benefits of upgrading from the X3 to the X4. The X3 has a 1800 mAh battery that provides 81 minutes of capture time, while the X4's larger 2290 mAh battery can record for up to 135 minutes and only takes 55 minutes to fully charge. As usual, the slot for the micro SD card sits within the battery cavity and is a little fussy to access, with support for cards up to 1TB in capacity, although I guess that keeps everything internal, and once in place the battery slides over the top and when clipped into position provides that watertight seal. All in all then, the X3 had the design cracked and it worked perfectly well for that style of camera, and the same is true here. There's little to complain about when it comes to build quality. It's pretty solid overall, especially with those new removable and replaceable lens covers this time round. When it comes to using the camera then, we still have that annoying activation, although it does give us the chance to upgrade the camera's firmware to the latest release, which is handy, after which we're greeted with some excellent tutorials taking us through the steps to using the camera. So, just like before, we use swiping gestures to control all aspects of the unit, swiping down to access extensive settings pages, in from the right to access advanced shooting modes like exposure and white balance, up from the bottom for resolution and frame rate settings, which we'll come back to shortly, and in from the left to access and view captured footage. So it's all very similar to the predecessor in the sense that most of the action happens through the responsive touch screen, although for times when it's out of reach on a selfie stick, voice and gesture controls come into play and work perfectly well. Of course, you do have the buttons, and there is a certain degree of customizability as to what you would like them to do. The quick button, for instance, can be used to access pre-configured modes for select activities such as motorcycling, skiing and so on, and you can always add more of your own too. When it comes to resolution and frame rates, it's here where the X4 gets upgraded video powers all around. 360 video resolution tops out at 8K 30 and 5.7K at 60. Slow motion 360 video improves to 4K at 100, while wide angle footage improves to 4K 60. Me mode video also now records at 4K 30 or 2.7K at 120, all massive improvements over the predecessor. Otherwise though, the menu system seems perfectly fluid, no issues there so far, and the blend of physical buttons with touchscreen control seems to work rather nicely. If you are used to the X3 already, or any of Insta360's action cameras for that matter, you'll feel right at home here. Of course, part of the parcel with 360 cameras is the software, and as with the predecessor, an app is absolutely required to get the most out of the X4. Either the Insta360 mobile app or the desktop studio app are necessary to fully process, edit and share any content you create with the X4. The mobile app does look somewhat busy, but it's pretty intuitive to use. 3 tabs across the top are for tutorials, which offer basic details on how to use all of Insta360's cameras, not just the X4. The For You tab is mostly a gallery of content from other Insta360 owners, while the Activities tab is a personalized space where you can tackle shooting challenges and more. Another strip of icons runs along the bottom of the screen. The first, Explore, contains all the tabs we just mentioned. Album for the content you've moved from the camera to your phone. Camera for connecting to, viewing a live view, as well as changing settings and controlling the actual camera. Edit, of course, for editing your photos or clips. And Settings, used to adjust app and camera settings. It's all pretty straightforward to use. Certainly the best 360 app out there right now. On the flip side, we do also have the Insta360 Studio software for your computer, and it's actually a pretty polished full-on editor this time round for other cameras as well as the X4. Although both app and the desktop software carry very similar toolsets, I do find the process fastest here, as mouse control just feels that bit more precise than on a phone-sized touchscreen. All worked perfectly well before and continues to do so with the X4. So, aside from a slightly sluggish startup time, the X4 is a responsive camera in every way. Voice and gesture commands are fairly reliable, with the status LED confirming you're in business. The Insta360 X4's headline feature is its 8K video recording, a bump up from the 5.7K resolution of the X3. Given the particularly wide field of view of the twin lenses, the extra resolution gives you much greater flexibility when editing your 360-degree videos to focus in on key action areas, and details look nice and crisp from what I've seen so far. Just note that the camera can run hot when capturing at the highest 8K settings, so you'll certainly want to use it while in an outdoor environment where you're moving in order to provide some airflow to cool the camera as you shoot. In fact, Insta360 have included a thermal guard with the unit, which slips onto one side, not to help with cooling at all, but more to protect your fingers from the heat. Not a deal breaker, but certainly something to bear in mind if you're looking to shoot primarily at the highest 8K settings. Otherwise, there's also a greater range of frame rates, and you can record slow motion video up to 100 frames per second in 4K, and the single lens mode can now shoot in 60 frames per second where the X3 was limited to 30. This increased flexibility enables you to mix up the feel of your shots, and also makes you feel like the X4 is a competent standard action camera. So, whether you're shooting dual lens or single lens content, the X4 produces sharp, clean results. Just note that the camera does better outdoors in bright light. It's clearly meant for daytime shooting. If you choose the higher resolutions and frame rates, the camera rewards you with lots of detail and smooth motion, thanks to the effective FlowState image stabilization, which is superb. Whether it's standard stabilization or 360-degree horizon lock, which can level your footage when the camera is moving at all angles, it performs amazingly well. As already noted, the X4 has significantly better battery life than the X3, a camera that was already one of the best of its kind. The new 2290 mAh battery betters the X3's 1800 mAh unit, providing up to 135 minutes of recording time. That's 67% longer than the X3's 81 minutes. And truth be told, I've been able to use the X4 over the course of a day and still have power left. In essence, the X4 still produces truly impressive video, especially when you remember that this is a camera that's easy to hold with one hand and has the ability to shoot first, frame later, then export to an aspect ratio of your choice. Flexibility is the name of the game here, and the Insta360 have nailed it yet again in that regard. So, all in all, I honestly can't think of a more capable handheld 360-degree camera than the Insta360 X4. It's simply a generational upgrade done right. The camera packs 8K video, great slow motion video, a useful 4K single lens mode, excellent build quality, 360-degree horizon lock, super image stabilization to smooth out your footage, and a bunch of fun video modes that you simply don't get with standard action cameras or smartphones. All that and the resulting photos and videos look excellent and can be a joy to prepare and share. In essence, if you mostly shoot action camera footage in single lens mode, then the Ace Pro would be a much better buy, simply because it's easy to mount to your helmet for instance, and will produce better flat video at a higher quality. But if 360-degree video, reframing, and the overall added flexibility is your thing, the new X4 represents the best value camera on the market right now.